Hello, my name is Yolanda Okereke. I'm a fashion entrepreneur, fashion engineer, costume designer for TV and television, and also a movie producer. This is Costume Chronicles with Nollywood.
The wedding party.
Oh God. That's one of the biggest wedding movies I've had in Nigeria, and it broke the box office in the cinemas. And it was from an actual wedding mood board. Don't ask me where it came from. It came from somewhere. I have this random mood boards on my laptop, and I just said, okay, this wedding, when is it going to happen? Yeah, come enter inside room. That's how he entered into the movie. And also because the entire movie happened in the span of one day. It's a whole wedding from the church to the reception. So you had to make it memorable. So in terms of the colors that we're going to use, and I had to work closely with my Atafo, who is my mentor, by the way. So when the wedding film came out, I said, who best to work with than Ima Atafo on this project? So I worked with my Atafo, we chose the colors, we looked at the samples, looked at everything. And every time I look at the poster of the wedding party, it just kind of gets me excited because it's bright, it's pretty, it's beautiful. You have it's an Igbo groom and a Yoruba bride. So the blend of the culture that we see, the Ashrabi that we see in the movie. So everything, that mood board was a 72-page lookbook because I had to show every single thing from the bridesmaid to the guests, wedding guests, bride guests, this one, that one, everything up to the waiters, everything. We created every single thing you saw in the movie. 90% of everything in the movie was created from scratch. Yes, for the wedding party. So and then there's the bride and then this groom, what the story is all about. You also do not want them to get lost in all of the beauty that you're trying to show. So in making Adesua's wedding gown, it was very important that we had to work with her body frame, her size and everything, like what we're going to show. She had beautiful shoulders. I'm like, okay, let's show her shoulders. You know, then with Banky, had to work with his skin tone because that would not lead for what the groomsmen were all going to wear. And I've always been a fan of the cathedral train. So, and then this time around, her train wasn't coming from her head because Ma had said, let's put a crown on her head. Because I said, I want the train to come from somewhere. He's like, where do you want the train to come from? I said, I feel like we're going to do like let's have an off-shoulder veil. I've never seen it before. And then we had this beautiful off-shoulder veil that went all the way like to the door from where she stood in front of the priest. The veil was all the way to the door. I'm like, yep. Yeah, the camera doesn't get to show you a whole lot because in edit you get to cut. But that was how long it was. That was how long it was. So she had a crown because it would have been funny to have a crown on her head and still have a veil pop from that crown. So when in designing these pieces, you have to think on your feet and be innovative and be very sure that they are functional because film is not real life. You're going to repeat, it's continuity. There are certain things you're going to do again and again. You have to look at turnaround time and be sure it actually does work and it tells the story. Because for me, in costuming, you must be able to use that costume to tell the story. It's not fashion, and you're not styling. So I'm very quick to tell people that costume design is not fashion design, it's not styling. It's fashion design when it's made by a fashion designer that has made a piece. How you now use that piece to tell the story, how you style it into telling the story is where the costume design comes from. So it's a whole process from reading the script to breaking it down, understanding who these characters are, their character bible, their personalities, their characters. Then you start to build a world for them.
Blood sisters.
You want to know why you have never been given a proper chance? Because you're useless, that's why.
Okereke is the matriarch of the Ademola family. She's powerful. She has money, she has wealth. She has influence. So, and I worked with Kate Henshaw for over 10 years. So we worked on several projects. So Blood Sisters came and then she's supposed to play this matriarch in her late 50s. And it was a lot of work in terms of trying to represent her as a matriarch, knowing that she's not big in person, like she's fit. How do you magnify this person on screen? So it was a lot of work, a lot of sketching, a lot of illustrations. I had to draw my inspiration from everywhere, but I think my major inspiration came from my grandmother. But my grandma is the matriarch of the family on my mom's side. And I remember as a child or a teenager watching her take care of herself and groom herself. My grandma doesn't have to step out of the house. She will look great and she will tell you you're not sure who you're going to meet or who's going to come into your door. You always have to look ready and be able to represent yourself. And she was also a woman leader at the time, so she had a lot of women look up to her. So her wrapper, the two wrapper, her blouse, her gilly, and then she's like, I have women coming over. You see all these women come, and you can tell the difference that she's like here, and not like, it's not a class thing, but like as a woman leader, you're leading women, you're the voice of these people, and they'll bring their problems to her or whatever is happening in their community and how she will address it. So I took that and I added that to the elements of building Udwak's wardrobe. We also have powerful matriarchs like Bola Shagaya. We have Senator Florence Itagiwa, Abba Folawiyo. That's what I was trying to remember. I remember doing a Guardian Life cover, and I walked into her house and I was blown. I was just like, oh wow. It felt like I walked into a castle with a queen in there. Like, she looked amazing. So when you take all of these powerful women and you put them on the vision board, then you can birth what an Udwak would look like. So her outfit, obviously very expensive to make. We didn't pick anything from the store. Everything was made from scratch. I went from inspiration to sketch to illustration to making some samples. Some pieces we had to make like 3 times. Like the outfit she wore descending the private jet. That was the 3rd attempt. The first one, I didn't like it. The second one was almost there. But I didn't want an almost. We almost made it. It was almost a hit. It had to hit or bang or nothing. So that one we had to do like 3 times until I got my vision right, because I wanted it to be like she was floating as she was descending that private jet. Even when she sat down watching TV, I wanted that every time she was on the frame on the camera, there was something about her that you would just be like, oh my God. Even if it was just you saying, this is too much to stay at home, we've made an impact. So that was very important. That Udwak was very memorable for everybody. So every scene was thought out. The stairs in the house was a character. So even when she had to, if the scene said she was coming down from the stairs, or the director had said he's going to block her coming down from the stairs, it was important that she was floating. So I made her dresses like long, cascading, like, so she's walking down the stairs, is bouncing on the stairs like how the wave pours over the stones on the shore of the beach. So those elements are very important for me, and I will say people really did like Udwak's wardrobe. So that was very memorable, and Kate Henshaw carried it and pulled it off really, really nicely.
King of Boys.
Eniola Salami, played by Shola Shobowale, because I had just recently worked with her on Wedding Party, and we're like, well, what is she going to look like? Typically, that would be like an Iran, Boba, Gile, Bile, all of those things. And we're like, we don't want her looking like the typical Yaloja in the market. We don't want her looking like that. So it was a lot of workshop, and I was like, I wanted her to look regal, grand, but not over the top. So I didn't want too many shiny elements. I didn't want too many bling bling here and there. So I said, okay, if she wasn't going to tie a gele on her head, what can she have on her head? A turban. So I wanted her to have a crown, because the movie says King of Boys. So at every time we saw her, I wanted her to look like she could actually rule over whoever the subjects were on the table. When she would sit at the head of the table, I needed her to have presence. So it was very important that she had presence. So I went with like really big, I will call them, I don't know if they had a name at the time I was designing them, I'll call them like kimono dresses, and they had volume. So when she walks into a place, she will occupy space. I wanted that impact every time Eniola came on your screen. So even like the choice of colors, because she's light skinned, so the colors matter when you're working with the characters and the cast. So I was very careful in picking all the colors. Like if it's a scene that's going to show anger or hate or revenge, I worked closely with her as well, because it's also important that the cast or the actors believe that they are these people you say that they are. And wardrobe goes a long way in helping them become these people, because an actor has to become and embody, and then you're happy with what you see on the screen. So the choice of fabric, because we're in Nigeria as well, so You don't want to go put them in polyester or really thick wool and then they're sweating, because that would not cause downtime on set. So every fabric had to be breathable, and fitting was very important. So we had done a wardrobe fitting, a wardrobe check before we went on screen. I remember when we were trying to even choose the poster, we were so confused as to what we're going to choose. But there was this green outfit that she wore that had a black lapel. There was something striking about it. Maybe it was just the way the green was on her skin. And I said to my director, okay, my dating, I'm like, I like that one. I think we should shoot that as an option for the cover. The main cover that just has her on the chair, just saying King of Boys. And it was remarkable when the movie came out and everybody's like, oh my God, I really like this film. Oh my God, I think Shola Shola looked amazing, because I don't think she had looked that way in any other movie. So like I said, she didn't have all the bling, 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 bling. Sometimes you can actually just go simple and it comes out well. And as long as the actor can embody, we're good to go. So yes, Eniola Salami's Wardrobe of King of Boys is one of my favorite ones to create.
La Femme Angela.
We had been on this project for over 3 years, and when it was now time to make the project, I think the ideas had moved past where we were 3 years before that. And I'm thinking, like, what am I going to do with Rita Dominic in this film? Rita is a fashionista, so she's done everything that there is to do. So, and the mood board for La Femme Angela, I took it back to the 50s and the 60s. Even like I took my inspiration from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And I remember when I submitted my mood board to Auntie Mildred, she was like, that's Mildred Oko. And she was like, why is a mood board in black and white? I'm like, it's a film noir movie, right? So I know we're shooting in color, but I felt I could better express my vision in black and white images, and then we can now do the derivative in color when the time came. And she's like, okay, I approve. Let me see what you want to do. So I said, the only thing I want to do is put an African twist to it. So I just wanted a bit of Africanness, because I know we're very Western in our ways. It's not anybody's fault. Not every film is set in the bush. Nobody's going to wear an ashoke. No banker is going to wear an ashoke suit to work Monday to Friday. It's not going to happen. So there are rules to these things, but there are places where, because it's film, there's creative license where you can actually like alter the course of what you're trying to do. So I said I would like her to wear African print throughout. And you know, when we say African print, our mind goes straight to Ankara or straight to ashoke. Not necessarily. What I was looking for was a way to have this same Ankara print, because Ankara prints are vibrant. I wanted this same Ankara print in different fabric textures, but I had nowhere or no clue where to find them. And time was coming. My director is asking, when are you doing the fitting? My actor is saying, oh, when do I see the clothes? I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And that's why we pray to God, right? God sent me an angel. I think it was Patrick Kayansky. I don't know, I ran into her somewhere, introduced myself, and she's like, oh, how are you? And let's do something together, like come to my store. I'd known Patrick Kayansky for the longest, but I'd never been to her store in Surulere. Then she says she has a store in Lekki, and I go to this store, and it felt like I walked into a dream. Every fabric texture I was looking for was there in Ankara print, from sequin to chiffon to satin to silk, you name it, it was all there. I just looked at my mood board, and when we concluded, I just looked at the mood board and I'm like, okay, this one is silk, let me see what you have in silk. And at the end of the day, when we made this film, I was really, 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 really proud, because it came out the way I wanted it. And so Dominic is Rita Dominic, so every time she came out, I'm like, yeah. So even she had one evening outfit in sequin in Ankara print. She wore an Akwete suit to the stock exchange house. You could see the Africanness that she brought to that movie, and the rich texture of how vibrant our colors can be, because we are colorful people as Nigerians. In everything that we do, we just like to pop the color. It was really, really amazing. So when the AMVCA nomination came, I wasn't surprised. I'm like, oh yeah, we got one for that. And everyone was like, yeah, that was awesome.
Far from home.
We had to create a school that did not exist. a school that will be globally accepted, that if somebody in China sees it, it'll be like, oh, I want my child to come to this school. And at the same time, also keep the Nigerian element. Like, how do people see this and make it Nigerian? The first thing that goes to your mind is green, white, green. So when we had the meeting, I said, what kind of ugly uniform are we going to get with green, white, green? That is so plain. Green is a color that if you do not know how to play with it, you might end up messing it up. So yes, our Nigerian flag was part of the inspiration to get the uniform. So I said, okay, let's play with elements around this green, like different shades of green, and let's see what. The shirt can be white. We all know that secondary school, high school is always a white shirt. If it's not a white shirt, it's a cream shirt or blue shirt, but you have to look for what is going to really look pretty on camera. And in sourcing this fabric, it was hell and high water. And in sourcing the tailoring, people are going to work with the tailor. That was another level, because you're talking about an Ivy League school, like a top-notch school. You're not going to bring one ugly bogus blazer and say this is what it is because that's what the budget said. So it was a great budget, because we did fight for the budget. It's an amazing budget. So in creating 120 costumes just for a school uniform, and they were not cheap, they were pretty expensive, and we had to make sure it looked that part. It looked like a school that people would send their kids to and pay up to 10 million naira a term. And then you have different characters that you have to show their different personalities and the different styles. They all can look the same. Simbi, Habibat, Amaka, Chichi, they're all friends, but they will all not going to wear their uniforms the same way. So that the character interpretation, that's another matter that I now had to like dive into, like, okay, this is who this person is. You are going to their character bibles, and that help to not represent all of them. Not only that, because there are also challenges that you face with stuff like that. So we had the base, which is a uniform. Now this uniform has to go with a tie. I couldn't find the right tie for this school uniform, and I said, I'll not take green and white tie again, or plain green. I tried different samples. So I like to experiment, because I always say that the blank canvas, then you start to add elements to know what stays and what goes. Or is it the badge? The badge was another nightmare. I tried doing the badge in Nigeria. It was hell. That's when I realized at the time in 2020, we did not have proper embroidery machines that could run like proper monograms of badges and stuff like that. So I ended up making the badge and the tie in Dubai. I had to source outside the country to look for a sample and to look for what could work. So the ties were made from scratch for the uniform, and the badges were made out of the country. We brought it back, we sewed it on, and ta-da, it looked great. Because what the issue was here was when they would print it, when they would weave it, you can't read the motto. Every school has a motto. They say, in God we trust, or whatever, peace and unity. It was just like scribbles. I'm like, nah, if the camera picks that, that's going to look terrible. For me, I give everything 150, 200%, 300%. It has to be great, because that's what gives you the next work. You want someone to see it and believe, because filmmaking is, you're a truth sayer, and you have to tell the truth all the time, because people need to believe the story that it is you're putting to them on big screen or house screen, TV screen. Yes. Then we had the cheerleaders' uniforms. Same problem. Being able to get the finishing right, because the cameras we use is a very they're invasive. I call them, they can show the smallest mistake, the smallest thread, the smallest. So with the advancement of tech, you also have to move in that direction in terms of what you're trying to say. If not, it's going to embarrass you. So that one I also had to make out of the country in Dubai as well. I had to make the cheerleaders uniform. No, I think the cheerleaders uniform was made here, but the jerseys for the guys was made out of Nigeria. So it was a very expensive project, and it was very tasking, because it made me think, it made me look outside, it made me make sure that QC, which is quality control, was top notch. Because we've had other YA shows like Blood and Water, Elite. All of these shows have shown, you've seen them, you love them. So why is our own now going to be different? Why is it going to be cheap? Why is it going to be, because it's Nigerian? We have this mentality that, oh, let's just, no, I don't do let's just. We don't know how far these shows travel. Sometimes you think it only just travels to America. It travels to places that you would never ever been. That's what media does. Media takes you into the rooms of places that you only hear about. You might not even go there. So it was paramount that we got this one right. So everything on that show, in terms of the school, was bought. Everything was, it was very expensive budget. The leads, everything was double. Their school shoes, double. Their school bags, double. Even up to the earrings, everything was double and triple. Because you're shooting back to back, so you can't even afford to say, oh, the shirt is dirty. You can't afford to say, oh, I can't find this leg of the shirt. There had to be an on-set replacement of anything that could possibly go missing. And they're young people, right? Actors. Not calling them, they're not careless, but in the course of shooting, in the course of the action, a bracelet can break. We're not going to start going to the market to go and buy another one. So this show taught me a lot about being very, very prepared and being ready for the worst case scenario. And the best part of the show was when we were shooting at the location where we shot the school, and we were shooting a scene, I think it was the orientation day, and our department has set up this beautiful area. They had put the banners, they put the school books and everything, and then students were filing in and we're just like rehearsing the scene. Two parents actually came to the table and like, oh, let's enroll our child in this school. We're like, oh, it's not the real school. Like, oh my God, really? Oh, we thought it was like, yeah, we're actually filmmakers, we're actually shooting the film. So that means you've done something right. You made somebody believe what you were trying to sell to them. Somebody believed what you were trying to show them. So Far From Home, really, really good. And we worked with it. It was an amazing production company. Ingblood produced Far From Home. It was an amazing time. It was an amazing time. And the genius of Naz Onuzo actually showed throughout the whole project. And I was grateful to have been on it, to have been picked as a costume designer for that. So, because even post the show, I think a whole lot of people were asking, oh, when did you make the uniform? Oh, da, 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 da. It was a whole lot. So, yeah.